Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're watching Daybreak. The hashtag on X as ever is Citizen Daybreak. The SMS code is 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya and at Ayub Abdikadir. On my far right, far left is Dr. Kenneth Mbongi, the Associate Dean, Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences at the University of Nairobi. Good morning, Dr. I appreciate it.
Morning, Ayub. It's a pleasure to be here again early in the morning.
And many blessings do come with the mornings.
Yes.
Senior Counsel, good morning.
Morning.
Nyamira County Senator Okongo Morgan is also with us in studio this morning. Professor Peter Kagwanja is the Chief Executive Officer of the Africa Policy Institute and also fresh from France. Good morning.
Good morning.
Appreciate it. Ahmed Hashi
good morning.
is diplomacy and foreign policy commentator, also joins us this morning.
Good morning,
here on the broadcast. Gentlemen, while you are away, the president was in Uganda over the weekend, and where he said the following regarding the claims made to the ocean by Ugandan President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Here is what President William Ruto said in Tororo in Uganda.
Tried to create an impression that Uganda had said something to the effect that they need to access the sea by all means. Let me assure the naysayers that Uganda and Kenya are brothers and sisters, and we do not have time for negative engagement. Uganda is assured of the access to the sea through Kenya, and that is why we are not only extending the pipeline, we are also extending the road, and we are also extending the railway, because we believe that this region needs to move as one.
And gentlemen, here is what President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni said before the president spoke in Uganda.
But that ocean belongs to me, because where is my ocean? I am entitled to that ocean. In the future, we are going to have wars. In the future, we're going to have wars. How can you say that you are in a block of flats, that the compound belongs to only the flats on the ground floor, that the compound belongs to the whole block? So me, I just go, these people, you are really endangering yourself. How can you have a situation like this?
Okay, history and context will be put to that and some flesh on the bone. But first, Senior Counsel, coming to you. Constitutionally, one of the responsibilities of any Kenyan president does not include speaking for another foreign head of state, is it?
Yeah, you know, under Article 1 and 2 of our Constitution, the president has an obligation to protect our territorial integrity and the sovereignty of a country called Kenya. I mean, the way he responded to, for lack of a better word, the reckless statements of President Yoweri Museveni, our neighboring president here, put to doubt his loyalty to the country called Kenya. Because you cannot make a declaration that gives an impression that President Yoweri Museveni may want to annex our territorial area at the coastline. Because when you say that, when Museveni tells us that the sea belongs to me, that in international law is tantamount to a declaration of war, because there is no way you can annex any territory that belongs to Kenya as a neighboring country. And when you're also making a statement that sends the impression that you are preparing for war, because he says this issue, if not handled, will create a situation where there will be future wars. It means that you're actually putting at stake the cordial relationship between a country called Kenya and a country called Uganda. So I don't think it was a responsible act from our president to go and make a declaration that seems to justify the statements made by Yoweri Museveni in our neighboring country. Even if he was making that statement to de-escalate the pronouncement by Yoweri Museveni, the forum we did it, and the tone. Yeah. You know, when you listen to the tone of the president and the tone of President Yoweri Museveni, it's like we're trying to massage the ego of President Yoweri Museveni, and that should not be the case. In fact, you know, you cannot give away the territory of Kenya unless you go back to the people, because the sovereignty of the people cannot be downplayed by anybody. Even if you wanted to do anything, which I don't see how it can happen, that could indicate that Kenya wants to give Museveni part of our sea, that requires the people of Kenya to endorse that decision in a referendum. So I think the best we expect from the president is that he needs to call Mr. Yoweri Museveni to order. We need to have good relationship with Uganda, but that should be largely economical, and it should be through mutual agreement between the two states. We need Uganda. We do. I think it's our largest trading partner, and we must, under international law, allow President Museveni to get access using the railway, using the road for its imports and exports. But in terms of wanting to set up a base, a military base in Kenya, I think we must draw a red line and say that is not acceptable under our constitution and under international law.
And Prof, before we come to your experience in France and also your op-ed, this dovetailing also the response by foreign affairs officials, CS Mudavadi and Principal Secretary Dr. Abraham Korir Sing'oei, and the President's statement in Tororo, there's the detection of the nuanced diplomatic response and the absence of it, is it, to what Museveni has said? I think
it's a clear policy of appeasement. And those of us who are in politics and understand how that is. It's because Museveni was very instrumental to Ruto coming to office. That one is clear. You don't need an answer. But that level of appeasement, you have seen it in Britain during the Second World War with Hitler. It can be very expensive. The law relating to the ocean is very clear. It simply says that if you don't have an ocean, you don't have an ocean. Clear. There are 44 countries in the world today which have no oceans. 14 in Europe, 16 in Africa, 12 in Asia, and 2 in Latin America. They don't have borders and they'll complain. Some of them have prospered beyond those countries that have oceans. Take Switzerland, for example. Switzerland is a country you want to belong to. It doesn't have a coast, but it is living comfortably and it's happy. Even the city of God, Vatican, does not have is landlocked, right? Vatican is landlocked, and the Pope has not declared war on anybody. Now, I say it is appeasement because Museveni is aware that Kenya owns, as our territory, the 200 nautical miles into the sea. After that, then you have the open sea. Now, that one he knows. He also knows that he has access to 3 entry points into the sea. And he has chosen them at his most convenient time. One is Kenya, which is historical because of the Uganda Railway. The second is Tanzania, which is Uganda's currently preferred route to the sea. The third, of course, is Congo, because you can go to the Atlantic through Congo. If Congo had as good infrastructure as Kenya has, and as good port, Uganda can also shift to the west and go to the Atlantic. So as a landlocked country, one of the 16 in Africa, he has those 3 options. Now, when he says what he said, I say this and stop. He's echoing what Abiy Ahmed is saying.
Excellent point.
Is saying in Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is the other landlocked country, and Abiy has even gone beyond the call of duty to try and buy land in the Red Sea, buying land from Somalia. Then that hit a deadlock. Then he has come out openly. He needs ASAB. Now, why do the 2 people need bring the debate on the pot? One, they are both facing internal opposition.
Right.
This is a situation where the dog is wagging, the tail is wagging, the dog. You want to win public opinion by declaring that you are a champion of national interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So because you are unable to unify your country internally using internal dynamics like success, you want to do that. Second, you want basically to have a navy. Yeah. These are militarists, people who are military oriented, and they are unable to have a navy on the sea. Museveni has a big chunk of the Lake Victoria. So you can have a small navy, but it will not do the work that you'd like to do, because you consider Uganda a military superpower. Yeah. And that's why everybody here is kowtowing to him, including ourselves. I agree with the senator here, 100%. Our president needs to be called to order. We are Kenyans, and we have a responsibility. That's why we carry our IDs and we carry our passports. Okay. Because we have a duty to defend our...
Yes, sir.
Well, the professor, my friend and my senior, has stolen my thunder. That's exactly what I was going to say. There's a saying that says that patriotism, I like this by James, this American author, says that patriotism is the last refuge of a scoundrel. And there are two things that we need to separate the chaff from the wheat. The one thing is the principle stand that I believe in, and many East Africans believe in, that we ought to get rid of these nation state and these Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, so forth and so on. Open these borders, get pipelines and railways and fast cars and highways throughout the region, and open the Indian Ocean to our brothers in Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, all these countries. And that's one principle stand about integration in East Africa. But you see, the two leaders, Mr. Museveni and Mr. Ruto, are using the lexicon of the East African community and openness and progression and to find this undiscovered country as a way of putting their agendas under the table. Now, my colleague is very right here on the right to say that there is a fundamental rejection of the peoples of East Africa of their leaders. It is clear in Tanzania. It's clear in Uganda. It's clear here in Kenya. It's clear in Ethiopia. Mr. Abiy, my colleague is right to say, is blowing the clouds of war, because what he wants is to get internal legitimacy because he lost it. This is the main thing, a way of boosting Mr. Museveni's chances in the election by claiming that he's going to attack a foreign country. Then the Ugandans are all going to come together behind their president, rally around the president, rally around the flag, so that Mr. Museveni is clothed in the awesome power of Ugandanness, so that the population can say, let's give the old man another chance. That's one political thing. The second thing that Mr. Ruto is not appeasing Mr. Museveni, allegedly our president owns all the gas stations in Uganda, allegedly. And the pipeline is a way of him bringing his fuel to Kenya in an expeditious way. And I think that I smell a rat. Whenever I look at our president, I'm always looking at the business angle of his ideas. And the pipeline that is being told to be sold to Uganda, I believe, and I allege, is a business deal between the two presidents. Now, whether it's a good deal for the two countries is an entire different debate. But I think that we, the people of East Africa, we people of Kenya, we people of Uganda, we people of Tanzania, should not be corralled into a corner so that they can scratch our internal consciousness about our nationalism as a way of these two people making us fight. It is them who are profiting from this fight. It is not the people. And we urge the people of the region to do what is necessary to protect their nations and their communities.
Yeah. Daktari, what's the historical context?
Before I come to the historical dimension to all this, let me just add to what my friends are saying. And Prof. Kawanja, it's interesting that you describe the Vatican as the city of God, using the title of St. Augustine's old classic book, City of God. That's fascinating. But are you beyond the idea of appeasement that Professor Kawanja is talking about, and of course trying to solve internal challenges by looking outside, and the selfish economic interest that Hashi has highlighted? I think there is another underlying dimension to this issue, where our president goes out of the country and panders the views of Museveni, who is seeming to suggest that, yes, Uganda doesn't have a coastline, but it serves a penthouse view of the Indian Ocean. You know, and Professor Kawanja knows this better than all of us, that the president is actually the first and foremost diplomat of our country. And more than anybody else, he needs to understand what our national interest is, especially within the dynamics of the geopolitics of the region. Now, to go to Uganda and remind us that we are brothers and sisters, you know, we don't choose neighbors. Dr. Uko, the former, Foreign Affairs Minister of Kenya in the 90s, used to say that we don't choose our neighbors. Geography has given us to them. So what I see here is, Kenya's kind of declining influence and hegemony in the general horn of Africa and the Great Lakes region. And this did not start yesterday, because I have a feeling that if the president stood up to Museveni the way Mzee Kenyatta did to Amin in the mid-70s, there is probably fear that the grand old man of East Africa will overrun Nairobi. You remember his own son has indicated that. And I have a feeling that there are certain foreign policy failures that have accompanied this, that have led Kenya to play second fiddle in the region compared to what it was previously. You saw the debacle in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where a force that was led by Kenya had to withdraw. You saw again in the Sudan, the belligerents did not agree that we mediate in that conflict because of a number of issues. Our failure to clinch the African Union seat is also a further indication that our influence in the region is declining. So we can also understand why our president is going the appeasement way, because our power and influence in the region, it is not what it used to be. Now, back to my field, history. There is a way in which, at the risk of annoying everybody else around the table, President Museveni was right historically, but wrong diplomatically. You know, historically, there wasn't anything called Kenya in the design of the British imperialists. Their goal in coming to East Africa was actually Uganda. And no wonder that in 1907, Winston Churchill, the then Foreign Under-Secretary of the British government, described Uganda as the pearl of Africa. You see, the reason why the British needed East Africa, particularly after 1895, when, things changed, was the strategic interest that they had in controlling the source of the Nile. The source of the Nile anchored the British interests in Egypt. Because in Egypt, the British wanted to control the Suez Canal. And to control the Suez Canal, you have to control Egypt. And to control Egypt, you have to take care of Egypt's interests that revolved around the waters of the Nile. So to control the Nile, they had to control the source, which was Uganda. And to get to Uganda at that time, they had to pass through what they considered as a wilderness, a pathway to Uganda. It's only when they were crossing through that wilderness, which later could be called the East African Protectorate, and later on Kenya, that they discovered that they can make some economic advantage out of it. Otherwise, Kenya was not in the works of the imperial matrix of the British. What was in the works was Uganda. And it is in the course of crossing over to Uganda that they discovered that they can turn Kenya into an economic hub. And therefore, initially, Uganda actually could have extended up to now what we call the Kenyan coastline. So historically, he has a point. But then diplomatically, the old man moved. But then that fits within. If you look at the Museveni we are talking about as I finish, he has this streak of cutting the image of a grand old man, the father of Eastern Africa. And he can say anything and get away with it. And for this one, he has actually, according to what our president has done, he's more or less gotten away with it.
Prof, your hand was up. Ahmed, I'll come to you. Or Ahmed first.
I think that I agree with my colleague. There is this historical conundrum which comes out every time we discuss subjects like this. But I think that we should concentrate more on the Machiavellianism of our leaders rather than the history of East Africa, because what they are doing is taking advantage of the current trends in history to look for political legitimacy in what is really a failed political leadership in Uganda. There's no question about it. In Kenya, Mr. Ruto has taken us back, and the whole country is up in arms. Everybody knows his Mbere is going to be lost. Everybody knows Malava is going to be lost. Everybody knows Magarini is going to be lost. I predict that the government is going to lose all the seats. Probably it's going to lose even Mandera because of his speech last time, which has made the people from northern Kenya start leaving his party. So I think that they are desperate. The political leadership in this region is desperate. Ms. Suluhu is very desperate. She has appointed a prime minister who is, nobody knows where she got him from, to try and run the affairs of Tanzania, because she cannot run it anyway. The international community has cut all the aid. It has cut all kinds of financial support for Tanzania. Tanzanian economy is in big trouble. The pipeline that goes from Uganda to Tanzania, which was the prize of Mr. Museveni, is now up in the air because he wants to come to our coast. And given that the president is selling our pipeline, I think that there are deeper Machiavellian things going on, and it is the job of the intellectuals in this country and the lawmakers to tell the people of East Africa that their leaders are not doing the things that they were elected to do. They are not doing the things that the people of this region's interests are in. And I'm not speaking about just being critical. We've seen what has happened in Tanzania the other day. We are seeing what is going on in Uganda. Yesterday, we saw the opposition being hit out at in Narok. I just want to say that the police commissioner in this country is one of the most decent people I know. I've never praised any government official in any show. But what happened in Narok and claims today about the IEBC, this IEBC, our elections are not done by popular vote. They are done here at Bomas of Kenya. Someone wins and the GSU just walks in and takes power for the president, because that's what happened last time. Now, I think that the Gen Z, for me, who are the hope of our region, have now to start standing up for this country and the people of this region, because the country's political leadership and the region's political is in the doldrums.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe a quick one. Hasi, I agree with you, but I want to suggest that you can hardly understand the foreign policy of the countries of the region outside their history. I will tell you that for free.
I agree with you.
If you look at Uganda's foreign policy for the last 60 years, and I have an advantage because we look at things long term.
Yeah.
and their attitude, you know, towards Kenya or Uganda and Tanzania is governed by the history of that country fundamentally.
True.
The claims that Yoweri Museveni is making now, there's a sense in which they were made in the 70s by Amin. Using historical claims, because the Uganda Protectorate, you know, for those who are not familiar with the history of this region, extended into far what we now call Naivasha in Kenya. The boundary was changed in 1902 to get back to Busia, where it is today. In 1975, Amin used that and wanted to claim all this territory. And but probably I could be sitting here as a Ugandan because I come from the western parts of
No, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. But the Somali Republic extended all the way to Nairobi in Isiolo. So we cannot say the people in Mogadishu that they own Nairobi and Isiolo. The status ante-quo has changed, and they are sovereign republics. But I just think that these fellows are beating the drums of East Africa, and they are lying to the population of this country. Yes,
Prof and Senior Counsel, can I take a break? We have an hour to run through. Okay. Then I'll start with the Prof. The hashtag on X is Citizen Day Break. The SMS code is 22422. At Citizen TV Kenya, Anat Ayub Abdikadir. We are back with more after the break here on the broadcast station.